All right, I'm John Bria, the publisher of Kitesurfing magazine. I'm here with Ewan Jaspan, who has been a top pro rider for a really long time, and you've stepped into the role of designing some pretty amazing new kites. Like I'm pretty smitten with the Boxer.
That's good
from
to hear.
From our last gear test in the spring. I actually added it to my personal quiver for
great.
foiling and have been loving it.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll start out. You guys just released the new Pivot, so we'll talk about the new Pivot, and then we'll talk about the Boxer and what changes you made to that.
Sure, sounds good. So yeah, this is the new Pivot. It comes in, we've got 4 colors. We've got the LE and then 4 colors as well. And yeah, this year we focused on kind of, not that the Pivot wasn't already a great all-round controlled kite, but we wanted to add extra control to the kite this year, which not only benefits like our top-end team riders and all that, but the lower level riders benefit from more control as well. Everyone benefits from more control. You feel more comfortable, you feel like you can go for your next best trick no matter what level you're at. So how we achieved this, what we did was between all the sizes, we kind of found like a great balance of draft positioning, depth, and aspect ratios for every size. So it's not like a blanket, change that we did throughout the whole range. We lowered the draft depth most in like the 9 and 10 meter kites, because those kites, they're not light wind kites, but they're designed to have a big wind range. People ride them quite powered, and you want them to really shoot forward in the window when you depower, so you're not riding around like fully like poo position, struggling to hold on. You want to be in a comfortable position, controlled. For the smaller ones, we did touch the depth of the profile a little bit, but not too much, because for a small kite, you don't want it like shooting all the way forward all the time. Small kites are so quick already, so you want them to have a little bit of power. And then the big kites, we kept that deep draft that you want for, light wind riding, sheet in and go, but we stretched them out a little bit and made them slightly higher aspect so that they fly further forward in the window. They like glide a lot better above your head, and when you turn them from park to 12 o'clock, they shoot up above your head quicker to give you a more vertical jump, and that's something that we've found across the whole size range. Also, we have added this new swift tip design to all of our kites. We'll come over here and have a look at it. So what it is, before on the outside of the kite here, we had a whole heap of Dacron, which is a really strong but quite heavy material. It's about 160 grams a square meter, whereas Quadtex, our canopy material, is in the 40s, about 46 grams a square meter. So because the Quadtex is so strong and durable, we managed to get rid of all this Dacron all the way up here and replace it with Quadtex. Run Quadtex all the way to the end here, so you have a really nice clean looking wingtip. And we just have a few layers of Dacron here sandwiching in the backline connection, and then up here for some flutter resistance. And what's that done is it's made a lighter wingtip, more responsive, flies better. It's 30% stronger than before, which is something when you're making things lighter, you want to make sure they're still just as strong. At Naish, we build all of our kites with quality materials and want to make sure they last. And then it's also lighter than before, so yeah, really great benefits there. And that's pretty much the Pivot, what it's for. As I'm sure most of you know, it's just the flagship all-round kite, kind of performance free ride, big air, bit of wave riding, foiling, whatever you want to do, you can push it there with the Pivot.
Yeah, so is that the kite you were riding during the Kite Park League event?
I was not riding the Pivot in the Kite Park League. I ride the Torch in the park, which is still, like for unhooking the world's best kite. But when I'm not in the park, I'm usually on a Pivot. So that's just, it's a great kite all round. I was just out on the 12 meter now. It got pretty windy and I was holding down the 12, whereas in previous years I'd be, getting super overpowered in the 12 and low 20s, 25 knots. And today I was just comfortable, boosting big, super rigid, solid kite.
Yeah, the older Pivots were still really good foiling kites, and the Boxer now is like an unbelievable foiling kite.
Yeah.
But this Pivot, would you say it's as good a foiling kite as the older
I would
Pivot?
say, I mean, it's slightly lighter than before, which of course is great for foiling, light winds. It's a little more efficient through the sky than before, so it does kind of get going, and once you're up on foil, foiling's all about efficiency. I mean, that's how foils work, right? You can get going in lighter wind because it's more efficient than a twin tip. So when you match that with a more efficient kite, it really works well.
Cool. Let's maybe take a look at the Boxer here. And So how long were you working on the Boxer before this new version came out?
So, I mean, as with all of our kites, it's usually a year development. We are going into the future. We've had a lot of changes in the company. As if you haven't heard, Naish was sold to Kubis, who are European distribution for 20 plus years, super experienced with the brand, and just added, we've still got the Maui office, we've got the office here in Hood River, White Salmon, and then now we've got the Dutch office as well. So we have really great personnel across the world now, and our development processes, are going to change up a little bit, and there's going to be some great changes that you'll see from Naish over the next few years. But
it sounds like it was a really good seamless transition.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was people who already worked with the brand, so we knew a lot of the people already. Everyone, has worked together for many years, mostly in distribution, but now in product as well, so it works really well. But on this Boxer, I mean, I've been foiling on the Boxer for many years, and so it was a kite that when I came into the kite design stuff, I felt pretty comfortable, with any of the little changes that I wanted to make. It is hard with a kite like the Boxer that is kind of known as the best one-struck kite on the market. How do you change it to make it better? It was a tough thing. The Swift tips really helped give just a lighter, more seamless kite. On the 7 meter, which is this one and down, we've just got the one attachment point on the back line because, these kites are mostly for foiling. You're not really tuning the speed of like a 7 meter or a 6 meter or 5 meter that much. It's kind of, we've found a really great position for it, and that works. The biggest change that we did this year was a progressive panel count across all the kites. Before, every Boxer had 12 panels, which, worked great for sure, but now what we've done is we've added some panels in the larger sizes, 12 and above, to be 16 panels, which gives it just a little more rigidity, much cleaner, tighter canopy. And then into the small sizes, we've got less panels than before, which keeps the kite lighter. And we got down to 2.8 meter in the Boxer, so you don't need 16 panels in a 2.8 meter kite. And when I talk about panels, it's these segments in the leading edge which run across here. A seam is obviously one of the stiffest points in a kite, so the more you have of them, the more structure you've got. It will add a little bit of weight to the kite. It's really negligible, but it's something that we wanted to progressively fit for each size in the lineup. We've also this year added these TLS 500 bridle lines, really nice quality bridle lines. You can see really nice splice work here, really smooth, seamless splices and joins here. What this does is the kite flying through the air is more aerodynamic, thinner line. And then also for water relaunch, our backline connectors here are also TLS 500. So they break through the water tension a lot easier when you're trying to relaunch in light water. That's in light wind. That's one of the things you really notice in light wind when you are water relaunching. You get the kite onto its side, and just as it's trying to take off, it's this thick bridle line that really catches the last bit of pulling out. Yeah. And with a much thinner line here, we really noticed a really great progress in the water relaunch ability.
Yeah, I definitely noticed the light wind relaunch on this 9 meter. Tuscan Hatters is exceptionally good.
Yeah, really good. So, I mean, that's pretty much what we've done to the smaller kites as well. The really small 2.8, 3, 4, 5, a slightly lower aspect. What we wanted to achieve with that is the small kites, you can sometimes pull them out the sky because they're so tiny, and we wanted to give the kite a little bit more grunt so you can lean against those smaller kites and still feel like you've got something to work with and not pull the kite out the sky. So the smaller kites are slightly lower aspect and sit deeper than previous. But yeah, that's the main changes this year. Still obviously made out of the top quality canopy material and Dacron on the market, full Tasian. And yeah, I mean, what else can you say? I mean, you said it yourself, you're loving it, you added it to your quiver, and I'm sure many people would love to too.
Yeah, so it's definitely a pretty advanced kite. It's a kite that you could fly it backwards in the window if you want, by oversheeting it. Yeah. Is that achieved? Is that the tuning on the 0 bar with the line lengths, or is that through the bridling?
No, that's through the bridling and just years of kind of, working the kite to work in all conditions, work flying in any direction. We do have the canopy material on this kite is quite stiff, which keeps it, solid when you do want to fly it backwards or do the little pinwheel kite tricks, all that kind of stuff. You want a really responsive, controlled kite, which is what this is.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely loving it.
Yeah,
super
sweet.
Fun. Want to take a quick look at some of the new boards?
Yeah. Twin tips, foil boards. What do you?
Let's do both.
Yeah.
And on in.
Yeah. Cool. So here's just a couple of the boards that we've got. A few new ones in the range this year. All the names are the same, but we've had some great upgrades. And yeah, we'll start in here with our foil boards. So last year we launched the microchip, which is a super small pocket kiteboard, 80 centimeters, full carbon layup. And this year we've got the macro chip, which is the size up. It's got foot strap inserts, 100 centimeters long. These boards are just as stiff a foil board as you can get, which stiffness really relates to just control and connection with your foil. This one, yeah, foot strap insert, so it's a little bit more versatile than the microchip, which is really just a small pocket board. And the great thing about these boards is the price point that they come at. I think they're less than $500 for a full carbon foil board, which is pretty insane. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah. Then we go into our hover kite boards. These are our other foil boards. These kind of, the macrochip and microchip are more advanced, intermediate to advanced kite foil boards. The hover kite, we range from 97 up to 140. And these are more, you know, beginner intermediate as well. This one's the 112, kind of a great all-rounder. And if you're into like boosting on the foil and stuff, this has got a bit more nose rocker and a wider nose for those touchdowns and a few more foot strap options. Kite foil range, this is the smallest one here, the 650, but the three of them, the 650, the 810 and the 960 are all based off the same platform. They've all got these washed out wingtips, which at speed actually start to create some downforce. And what that means is the faster you go, the foil doesn't get liftier and liftier, where the point where some foils that you ride, the faster you go, you need to start leaning on your front foot more and more, and when you're hitting the top speed, you feel like you're hanging off the nose. These just create a really balanced lift profile at all speeds, which is something that's really nice. You always know where to put your weight and trust it. They also don't create so much lift at the tips, so when you breach the tips, it's not like you're losing a whole lot of lift, so it's really controllable. Moving into the twin tips, here's our Hero, which is our kind of beginner intermediate board. This year, it's got a new spine in it, which you can see. This is our keel lock spine. What this does is it really helps with upwind riding, breaking through chop, and it disperses water on landings as well. So when you come into land, it breaks the surface tension and just gives you a nice smoother ride. So for our price point, kind of all-round beginner intermediate board, it's a really great upgrade, and kind of brought this board into, gives you a little bit more room to grow with it as well. We'll move on to the Motion, which kind of been our flagship free ride board for many years. It's also had the addition of the keel lock spine, which does the same as the Hero, kind of breaks through the water, gives you a really nice smooth ride, and it's a great upgrade for those people that have loved the Motion over the years. The Drive is our high-end carbon, really super responsive, lightweight board that's probably the most favoured board for big air riding in the lineup to our team riders, for the board offs and all that stuff. It's super light, really responsive. Nice bit of rocker, which really helps with landing and stomping big tricks in choppy water. And then a nice single concave running through the whole board for some good upwind bite. And then we'll move on to obviously my favourite board because it's got my name on it. But
I think it would be fair to call it a pro model.
Yeah,
do you think?
It's the Ewan Jaspan Pro. It's the Traverse, so this comes in two constructions. It comes in the standard, and then this one, which is a little bit stiffer. It's got a grind base on it and comes with these custom 2.8 centimeter fins. What we did with this board was we just tried to, draw a different outline from most of the boards that you see on the market. This thing, it's just fun. It's longer, narrower than a standard board, more of that free ridey, carby, loose feel, really playful, and just kind of gets you thinking about your riding a little differently on the water. It's also a really great choppy water board with the longer outline, thick rails that really bite into the water, so you don't need big fins because the rails are really grippy. And comes in up to a 152, which is what I ride mostly. And yeah, also offers a performance board for those bigger riders. Most companies stop at the 142 mark and that's it. And for most people over, 80 kilos, 175 pounds, a 142 just doesn't quite cut it. So here we have these. Also new to this year is our 2-year breakage warranty on all twin tips. So if you fold your board, crack your board in the first 2 years, it's warranted straight up. So
that's super cool.
pretty good confidence we've got in our boards. They are built to last, and yeah, something we can back it up with.
Yeah, it looks like it's got a bit of a unique rocker profile compared to a lot of other
it's got a continuous rocker, a little bit more into the tips, so that the center stays a little flatter, so it planes well. But it's also got that nice rocker for landings and buttering around and carving in waves and all that. You want a little bit of rocker. It's a lot more playful feeling. So yeah, that's some of our, great board lineup, and yeah.
And you guys have completely redesigned the surfboard range this year as well.
Yeah, we've got Noah Hoffman, who's our one of the new engineers at Naish. He's a bit of a surfboard guru himself, and he's taken over the surfboards this year, redone the rail profiles, the rail shapes, some of the outlines, and we're working on the construction as well. So we're super stoked with all the new surfboards. They just feel like a lot more bitey into the water. You can really drive hard through them now, and they just really hold their rail, and something that's really nice to feel under your feet. And the fins are a nice upgrade too. So.
Yeah, so every board in the surf lineup has thinner rails.
Yeah, and they're more like sharper rails as well. Not quite as like 50-50 as they were before. Yeah. They're kind of made to be. I mean, kiting you ride generally a lot faster than you do surfing, so you need those rails to bite. The water's also choppier than surfing usually, windy. So you really just want something that bites and holds, so you can trust your bottom turn leaning into a big wave. Yeah.
Cool. Well, on the underneath this video, we'll put links to all the release information and all that here. And
sounds
we'll
good.
also put a link to the website.
Yeah.
Which is what
we
is
got
it? Naish.com.
Nashkites.com. I think Naish.com actually goes as well, but it's a brand new website that we just released with this whole launch the other day. So yeah, go check it out. All the products are there.
All right, sweet. Thanks a lot, Ewan.
Cheers.